the music and dim the lights because we're stepping inside the fabulous Flamingo Lounge for the 7th season of Local Music Magic. In the Flamingo Lounge with Rockabilly Greg is more than just a podcast. It's a collection of stories that delves deep into the vibrant music history of Buffalo and Western New York, creating a living archive where each story adds a unique thread to the overall narrative. This season, we're bringing you intimate conversations with musicians and music industry professionals, both young and old. We'll be exploring and celebrating the shared creativity that defines the artists, venues, and music events that we love. But before we get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, CatsLikeUs.com, Diamond Hawk Golf Course and Pub, and new supporter, Buffalo Ironworks, for helping to keep the music alive. VOYAGR emerged as a passion project led by singer-songwriters A.J. Jabaji, Rachel Josie, and drummer John Morano. Drawing inspiration from artists like Wild Rivers and Donovan Woods, their sound fuses folk and country influences, featuring poignant lyrics and explore themes of faith, loss, and relationships. In addition to new music in 2025, the band will be opening for Jason Aldean and Brantley Gilbert at the WYRK Toyota Taste of Country and showcasing at the North by Northeast Music Festival in Toronto. Their latest EP, Go On and Get Out, is streaming now. It is my honor to welcome to the Flamingo Lounge, AJ, Rachel, and John from VOYAGR. Guys.
Hey. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming down the lounge.
Of course.
So we love the vibe down here. It's great.
Cool. I like it. So we got some new stuff going. You brought your GoPro, so hopefully we'll have some companion video going on with this episode. I'm pretty excited. So we got some. I'm trying out some new things this week, so hopefully we'll keep making the show better and better and getting on. I'm looking forward. I've been listening to your music, and it's good stuff.
Thank you.
Very well produced too, and very well polished. And but as I like to say, I like to start out the podcast getting a little bit of a understanding of who you are. So I like to ask everyone if they had an aha moment when they said music is what I want to do. And AJ, you're up first.
I'm up first. Ooh, okay. So I don't think that I've had one singular aha moment. I think that it's been a lot of aha moments, just like anytime that I have any kind of successful moment or something that really just kind of gives me a lot of creativity and passion. I'm just like, okay, this moment right here, that definitely helps solidify and build that, like, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I started out when I was a kid in middle school. That was where I had my first experience with chorus class. Julie Arlotta was the teacher, and I haven't talked to her since I was a kid, obviously, but she was a big inspiration to kind of get me out of the middle school kind of day in, day out monotony. And, you know, music was kind of a safe space for me. Right. And I remember she got me into this a cappella group called Pink Panthers. And we did Brown Eyed Girl. We did Stand By Me by Benny King. And that really just like helped develop a sense of like, yeah, I love this. I could see myself doing this.
Right.
And then in high school, once again, continued on with chorus. And that was really where I delved into my own songwriting and drawing my own experiences from life, just putting it from here down to paper. Right.
Yeah.
And then as I just continued on over the years, I mean, I'm 29 years old right now, and it's been a lot of hard work, but that hard work is what has definitely made me feel like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And it makes me have that drive to go after it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting how teachers really, we don't know it when we're younger, but how they really do kind of, there's always, I think everyone has one teacher in their life that they're like, they look back on and go, that person really pushed me, or, I had my English teacher, Mrs. Ruckman. She actually yelled at me. She told me I was full of crap, and kind of got me off my pedestal.
Right.
And I was a young little snot back in high school.
Same.
Weren't we all though? Right? We
we
all thought we were going to change the world and idealistic, and it's like, you got a lot to learn there, kid. But yeah, it's interesting how that stuff kind of resonates with you.
Absolutely.
Well, John, I'm going to go to you next.
Yeah, I think like AJ, there's probably several. One that definitely sticks out is my very first concert I went to with my dad and my sister, and it was Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway album tour.
Of course it was.
Which is still just a fantastic album. And I would jam to that, in my basement playing drums all the time growing up. I was probably 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
But just seeing the the stage performance, seeing the musicians and how they were interacting. And it was just like one of the coolest things I ever saw. And I thought to myself, like, I really want to do that someday.
Right.
It was super inspiring. And then kind of had a full circle moment about 10 years later. I got to play on that stage at Darien Lake for the Kingdom Bound Music Festival.
Oh, cool.
With an artist named Benji Coward. And so, yeah, I would say that was definitely a defining moment. Just, I can remember that concert today and just how cool it was and how great the music was. And this was like, you know, when pop punk was at its hiatus and it was this kind of pop punk pop mashup. And it was just great. And I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I have a Kelly Clarkson story. I actually brought my daughter to see Kelly Clarkson when she first won the American Idol.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And we went to Cleveland. I went to Ken West. So I went and picked her up at Ken West and says, hey, we're going to Cleveland. Your bag's packed. We're on our way. You know, it was about a month or so before Christmas. I said, Merry Christmas. And we had a ball. And you could tell that was that first season. They had 12 winners, right? Every winner got a little bit better. You know, the 12th, then the 11th was a little bit better than the 12th. But when you got to Kelly Clarkson, it was like, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, she just,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you won. I mean, hands down, she was the best. And it was great. We had a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
I used to watch American Idol all the time growing up.
Yeah.
And I remember like those pivotal moments of just seeing like Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, and you name it, Daughtry.
right.
And
Yeah.
I think that's also another thing that kind of like solidified, like, yeah, I want to do this one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell the artists from the people who are they're good vocalists,
Right.
but they're just kind of mimicking, you know what I mean? They're, they could certainly entertain anywhere, but Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, Daughtry,
100%.
some of some of the other ones definitely.
David Archuleta.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
he
guy
was my
won.
favorite.
Did he win or did he get like runner up or something like
I
that?
think he was second place to
He
David
was-
Cook.
Either way, I know that
I think David Cook won, but I love David Archuleta.
my sister was obsessed with him.
I think it was better
Obsessed.
not to win, right? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
It brings you still that following or that
Oh, yeah.
attention. Yeah.
because I mean, Adam Lambert didn't win, did he?
No.
No. And
I
look-
don't think so.
Can
I
I
know
fact
he's
check
singing
that
with
real
Queen.
quick? Let me look
They
that
all
up.
kind of, they're all a
No, I'm
blur
kidding.
at this point in my life.
I
You know what I
know,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I remember sitting there attentively watching all these different artists. But then when you're like 30 now and you're like, oh, I don't know who won that year. Like, you kind of forget.
Yeah.
But I do remember the names, like all the names.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you
Yeah.
figure Kelly Clarkson was about 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, holy smokes.
Oh, you're man. That's making me feel old right now,
Yeah.
brother.
You,
That's making me
hello.
feel old,
he's
brother.
like, hey, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
Not a day over 32, right?
What's that?
Not a day over 32,
Not a day
right?
over 32.
I thought you were 32,
There you go.
34.
God bless you. I have kids older than that. Well, Rachel, you're next. You're last,
All right.
last but not least.
So I would say, like, thinking about it, my most like recent aha moment was in college. I mean, I sang since I was little, like at the church or whatever, and I was involved in band and stuff, but I never like pursued music at all to any capacity. And then in college, I want to say my third or fourth year, and if my roommates end up listening to this, they can attest to this. But I started out by teaching myself ukulele. My brother was very good with electric and acoustic, and I kind of learned a little from him.
Mm-hmm.
But I had my own ukulele in my room. I shut my door and I would practice. And I was like singing songs, and they had their ear up to my door, and then they opened it and like, you can sing? And I was like, yeah, because it was my thing. I kept it hidden.
Right.
And then after that moment, I was like, I mean, I guess I can sing and I can play and sing. So that's kind of cool. Like, no one can really do that. So then they made me sing all the time, like after that. So then I ended up during senior week, we went to this place, this like cidery. And I was in the crowd with them, and this guy came for live music, and they're like, you should go sing with him. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't know if you guys even know this.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the first time.
We're all learning about each other.
We've
right now,
known
I
each
think.
other for like what, the past 10 years, and we're
all learning right now.
We learn something new about each other
Yeah.
every single week. It's crazy.
But yeah, so I'm like, I'm not going up there because first of all, I don't want to sing in front of you anyways, and I don't want to sing in front of anybody. And they were like, our roommate can sing, and they were pointing at me. And then so I went up there, and he was like, what do you know? And I'm like, Coldplay, 21 Pilots. Like, I was naming off some artists that I knew.
TOP era.
And
My
it was.
goodness.
We did Ride. We sang
Yeah.
Ride by 21 Pilots, and everyone was
Yeah.
cheering and screaming. So I remember feeling like like that aha moment. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, like I actually kind of like this. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, jumping forward, John and AJ and I met through some friends and a church group we went to. And we were doing a little bit of live music kind of together-ish, like with different people. And then during COVID, AJ had done this project called VOYAGR, and he sent it to John and I. And I remember thinking like, AJ, this is so cool. And then after, like, there's some stuff that happened in between that, but we started doing live music at like, Penny Lane Cafe. Like we just started singing more together, and then John was joining in, and then I just remember being like, guys, why don't we just be a band? Like we're already doing the thing. And then he goes, what are we going to call ourselves? And I said, VOYAGR. So that was my second aha moment where I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And they're like my brothers.
I think we knew we had something special. Like I really enjoyed, prior to playing in VOYAGR, I was kind of a free agent in terms of playing with different, independent artists in the Buffalo area. And I liked the flexibility of being a free agent and kind of being non-committal in terms of who I was playing with and when. But I knew that like, if we were actually going to make this a thing, that it would be successful. And couldn't be more proud of really where we are now, a little over 3 years into this kind of thing.
Right.
Man, we're a well-oiled machine. That's what I've been telling people is that, we all have our strengths. We all have our roles. We know what our expectations are of each other. And, we all just get whatever we want to do accomplished. Cause we have that drive, we have that determination. And, like Rachel was saying earlier before we started the podcast, John is the admin kind of guy, the EPK, like you name it, just anything admin, booking, management type stuff. John is the best guy for that.
MVP. He's the MVP.
Rachel started off really as kind of like the Instagram, like social media kind of guru. And then she started writing some killer songs. And I'm just like, whoa, where the hell did this come from?
And I didn't really know. Like I wrote songs and kept them to myself. Like I was saying earlier, like I was kind of keeping that as my own little thing. And then the first song I ever wrote and shared with them was Think of You. And I remember like being so nervous, and I was like, guys, I'm going to share this with you, but you can't judge me. And they're like, judge you? They're like, that's fine. Like, whatever. So then they loved it. And then we ended up finishing it. And how long? It was like a day.
Less than a week, I think.
Think
it was
of
a
You?
couple days.
No, Think of You. That one, I remember we had rehearsal preparing for our cave show. And, and then I had to leave. And then you showed us all that song. And then I ended up leaving, and I was like, yeah, let's work on finishing it later on. And then you guys ended up finishing it while I left, or after I had left.
Yes. True.
And then the next day, actually, I think it was that night. I could check my phone because I have the read receipts from the past like 4 years.
Oh, there you go.
But anyways, pretty sure that y'all ended up texting saying like, hey, the song's finished. Here we go. How crazy would it be if we played that for our show tomorrow?
So it was 2 days.
We ended up doing it right then and there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So y'all share the duties then of writing.
Yeah, I think in the beginning stages, it was mostly AJ just because he had more of the experience in that way. And then I kind of was like, I started to develop, obviously, that trust with them. Like, okay, I can share this information about my ex-boyfriend or about, you know what I mean? Like my life, and they won't judge me because they've been like brothers to me since we've been friends. So I was like, okay, like I can do this. So I think over time, like now, like when it came to Canyon Winds, it wasn't really that hard for me to say, hey guys, I wrote this on the road and I think it's fun and cool. And same with them. Like if John has to add a little bit, because he does sometimes, if he adds a little bit, like he has no fear of like, oh, they're going to, judge my lyrics. Like we kind of all have that trust with each other.
Sure.
So Born a Believer is our song that we all wrote collectively in Denver, Colorado together. So that's the one that we are proud of just because it's a collective song of all three of us. But usually it's AJ starts it, I help finish it, or I start it and AJ helps finish it. And then John kind of like, he helps finish sometimes.
Yeah. I'm kind of like the rhythm police.
Yeah.
So,
oh my
gosh. You had the film.
So like sometimes if they have a lyric that just like doesn't flow right or like isn't the right like rhythm, like I'll be like, hey guys, this doesn't flow. And then sometimes it's well received. Sometimes it takes them a minute to like understand it. Right. But then like if I sing it back, and that's usually really poorly, they will laugh, but then realize, yes,
I'm not going to comment.
What you're describing makes
Everyone
sense.
has their strengths.
Yeah.
Everyone has their strengths. We listen, we don't judge.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, I think even we try and take a songwriter retreat every year, and
Right.
Yeah, we do like once a year.
Rachel was she went and like pretty much traveled across the country,
Mhm.
and she ended up living out in Georgia, then moved over to Colorado for a little bit. I don't know how long you were actually out there for.
It was a 6-month road trip before
cool.
I
Yeah.
decided to, get engaged and get married and settle down. Because
Mhm.
I had a feeling he was the right one. So I was like, I just need to do this.
There you
And
go.
he supported me.
Mhm.
He just was like, are you going to come back to New York? And I'm like, well, probably, I guess. But yeah, I was gone for 6 months. And at the end of that 6 months, I ended up in Colorado.
Right.
And I was telling them about it. And I know that they're,
We were just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So that's where we started the trend. And now we went to Nashville the following year. And then this year went to the Adirondacks.
Yeah.
Just
Cool.
to,
Yeah.
keep a trend going. Because
Yeah.
it's really good. And we do really well with that. Like we have, 3 days sometimes?
Yeah, we take a weekend and we set aside a weekend to one, get away, but to
Mhm.
two, like write and goal set for the year and
Talk about merch.
merch,
There you
content,
go. Yep.
goals,
Content, yeah.
things we want to accomplish. It really helps set up the year for success and
Mhm.
allows us to come up with
Well,
some like measurable,
Obtainable.
measurable, attainable goals that we can hit
well,
and focus on for the year. And so it's something that not a lot of bands do.
yeah.
And we never set out to make this an annual thing, but it really feels great coming off a winter.
Yeah,
I
AJ
do.
had every intention with it,
Yeah.
but John
I
was
wanted
like,
it to be an every year thing, man. I love getting out and just hanging
Right.
out with these guys and getting to
Yeah.
just get away from life and then just focus
Yeah.
on writing
Yeah.
and write what we're experiencing and living.
It really
Yeah.
sets the
And-
tone for the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody can't be a right brain guy, right? I mean, I'm sure
Right.
you've got the right, but
Yep.
got to
I
have a
do.
left brainer in
Yeah.
there, right?
I feel like I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like we
Mhm.
were saying earlier to you too. Yeah, like John's over here as like the admin and the MVP of like holding everything together. And then there's AJ who is like the free spirited, spontaneous, I'm going to do all these things. And then I'm like in the middle of that. Like sometimes I'm more like AJ
Mhm.
and sometimes I'm more like John. And I feel like it's just funny because we blend so well together. And I'm a female too, so my brain is completely different. So
Is
there's
it
a
Sorry, I
yeah.
Jokes.
don't mean to
But-
laugh.
No, you can. It's a real thing. So I feel like, but I love it. I think it's so fun, and like we have such a good blend of like all the little things. So it makes it work out really well, especially for songwriting. So
Right.
So I ended up saying all of that just because when we went to Denver, we got to our Airbnb and I just I was looking for the Wi-Fi password and saw this like one picture and it was like very like naturey and it was like an open road.
Mhm.
And I just ended up like taking my guitar, like strumming a G chord and then going to a G sus and then back to the G. And I was just like, I was born a believer. And then like from there, they were just like, whoa. Well, we're writing that, right? And I was
Right.
just like, yeah, let's do it. And
Well,
then we
I
ended
thought it was a song. I literally asked him like, what song is that?
Ah.
And
And
he's
he
like, I
goes,
just made it up.
I just made it up.
That's crazy.
And this
Yeah.
dude,
They give me way too much credit.
no,
They
he doesn't
really-
give
they
himself enough
genuinely
credit.
do.
He'll just start playing things.
Yeah.
And like we were in our buddy's basement the other day, and like him and the buddy were playing. His name's Drew. I can say Drew.
He's our bassist.
He's our bassist.
Okay.
So him and AJ were playing, and I just started singing because I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I thought of this like song and this lyric, and like there's just stuff like that where he doesn't recognize that his ability to play notes and chords and riffs and all the things, like it inspires me,
Right.
but also like he gets inspired, and then even like John. So that in Denver though, what he's talking about was so funny because we were like, wait, like let's write a song about this. So.
Right.
And then we ended up doing it. And I mean, like, Born a Believer ended up being one of my favorite songs that we had written together. And like,
Mhm.
really, like, Born a Believer is an anthem for those navigating the complexities of identity and purpose, you
Mhm.
know, and really just kind of maintaining faith in whether you believe in God or like believing in yourself through everything that happens
Right.
in life. Right.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic. Although I'm going to say you suck. I just envy you guys. I mean, that's such a gift.
Thank you.
That you can do that.
I appreciate that.
And,
Brett.
Thank you.
I'll ask, do you guys usually come up with it sounds like it's kind of a combination that sometimes the music comes first and the lyrics come second and maybe the opposite. So do you have any
Man.
kind of a formula?
I think we might be different in that way. Like I'm personally like I write out everything
Mhm.
and then I tell AJ like, hey, I wrote this verse and this is what I want it to sound like, and then he plays it for me. That's
Mhm.
how I operate. AJ, you can.
Yeah, it's different with each song, right? I think I'm thinking about right now currently a song called Something More that I had written.
Mhm.
And that was another quick song that just kind of happened. And it was after, my best friend had passed away unexpectedly. And I just remember feeling, I was having a rough day dealing with the grief and all that. I get home and then I just get on my guitar and then I just start playing some chords. And then from there, like the melody just kind of starts uttering out. And then you end up throwing in some words and seeing like, it's kind of like throwing paint at a wall, right? Seeing what sounds right, what sounds like genuine, and is this good, right?
Right.
And thankfully, like that song ended up, being finished within like 45 minutes of writing. And that was one of those things that just like went from point A to point B.
Yeah. It seems like, going back through history, that the really good songs are songs that happened like that. They were written very quickly. It was just like, boom, they came to someone and it's a hit. And songs that you have to labor over intensively just don't have that, because there's that magic, right? That the song has when you're just like, oh my gosh, you're bouncing off of him and he's bouncing off of you, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. And it's kind of this organic thing that just takes a shape, and you've just created something that's like, it's
like, holy crap, that just happened.
Exactly.
Like, wow.
It's
and
like, where'd that come from?
I want to give a lot of credit to our bassist Drew. He's become, one of my best friends, and he's all great friends, best friends with all of us. And when we had brought him in as the bassist, he kind of formed into this like beautiful songwriter, and he's an amazing lyricist. And so me and him, I'm a big proponent of co-writing. It's awesome that you can write your own songs by yourself.
Right.
I think if you can get two brains together, I might be thinking of one thing to make a song work, and then like Rachel or Drew or even John for that matter might be like, no, actually, like, let's change this around, let's do this. And so with the one song that we had written, Go On and Get Out, he had came to me with a few lyrics, and then I ended up kind of hearing that melody in my head, and I'm just like, let's run with this. And then, John ended up coming over. I think Rachel was working, but all in all, we ended up just finishing that song probably in a couple hours. But so big props to Drew. We love him, and we're so grateful for him.
Right. Well, that kind of gets me to playing our first song.
Good segue, eh?
Oh,
good
sweet.
segue. Boy, you're right on cue there. So that was because that's the first song that we talked about.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
and
yeah.
since you talked about it, we might as well. It's not quite at the. I mean, I'm not so rigid. It's like it's not 30 minutes yet. We can't sing. Listen to that song yet. But
we're an open book, man. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
Do
it if you need to.
Yes. This is "Go On, Get Out" by VOYAGR.
I've seen you behind every closed door. Honey, I know you all that well. Watch you fool me with your smiles. All the lies unlike you've come home. If an empty bottle marks a mistake, honey, I'll make my last drop on you. Because loving you and all you put me through, baby, that's my final take. My heart is put up with every cheap shot, when your soul knows only how to take the last shot. Oh, and I'm tired of losing the stupid love match that we started and can't get out of. And I'm so sick of trying. I know that I'm lying to say we should work this thing out. If me losing is walking away from the shouting, then baby, I'll end this bout. It's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out. My dumb heart thought you were forever. Got caught in an endless chase. Well, I thought that how to take the last shot. My heart is put up with every cheap shot. When your soul knows only how to take the last shot. Oh, and I'm tired of losing this stupid love match that we started and can't get out of. And I'm so sick of trying. I know that I'm lying to say we should work this thing out. It's me losing and walking away from the shouting. Then baby, I'll end this bout. It's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out. It's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out.
Good stuff, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's you can tell. And I listened to your stuff last night, to prep for today, and it's like your songs seem very autobiographical to me. I mean, there's a lot of you in the lyrics.
Yeah.
It seems like the stories and
I always tell people that if you want to know who I am, just listen to my songs,
There you
right?
go.
Listen to the songs that I write. And this
Right.
was even before Voyager, right? Like I used to be a worship leader for a church, and ended up kind of releasing like an EP called Bloom Again. And my mentor at the time had helped me out with it. And whatchamacallit, yeah. So realistically, if you want to know who I am, listen to my songs. I'm an open book, and really songwriting for me has been the way that I have dealt with and processed through, whether it's traumas, whether it's the happy moments or the bad moments, right?
Yeah.
And so I just try and make everything very real,
Mhm.
right?
That's probably why they flow out so easy, though, right?
Exactly.
Because you're writing about something that you know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and
If
it's
you-
easy for AJ and I to write because what's been the topic lately, if you don't mind me sharing.
No, go for it.
It's just funny because he writes about like heartbreak and being heartbroken, and I write about like being in love.
Mhm.
And like obviously, like my first song was "Think of You," and that was through an interesting situationship that I had.
Okay.
But after that, like I met my husband Josh, and then we were dating, engaged, and married. And throughout that process, like I wrote "Canyon Winds," and then
So
I wrote "Scars."
Mhm.
And everyone's like, "Oh, is that about Josh?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah. I mean, it's not about anyone else."
Duh.
Right.
But it's like the opposite. So we have a cool dynamic of like both sides of a relationship.
Mhm.
But what's cool is that like obviously like I've been through like seasons of heartbreak as well. So when AJ writes a song, like I can share "The Devil That You Bring" is one of our newer songs that we haven't released yet.
Can't
but
wait for that one to roll out.
I'm excited for that one
So
too.
that's one of those songs that's just like infectious with the melody.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it has like a cool storyline. But AJ and Drew had started that one, and then on the band retreat, it was missing verse 2, and I was like, well, I could write it, I could sing it. The melody's not too high for me to sing, whatever. So I came up with verse 2 in the lens of like. It wasn't even like the happy I'm in love. It was more of like, oh, like AJ's writing about how he's like trying to get over this person, but I'm the girl that's writing like I'm already over you, so I'm done.
Right.
So it's a really cool dynamic, and I'm so excited for that song to come out because even just singing it, we sang it live for the first time at the Kaz on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So when I sang it live, like I was a little nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've never sang this before.
Oh, looking back at the video
It was
footage,
so
you were
good.
dancing and grooving along
I
to that
was.
song. It was
I
good.
was because it was so good and natural. Like you
Right.
said, it flows naturally, and
Mhm.
I was like, I wrote this, I can sing it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you never sang it live before, so it's just a little.
Right.
I think what I appreciate most about AJ and Rachel is we're able to write about these really, whether that be love, joy, loss, grief, heartbreak. We're able to write about some like very deep topics,
Mhm.
but the way that they're able to put them into lyrics is very simple and easy to understand.
Right.
And I think that's why so many people have been able to really connect with the music that we make, is because we're writing about really real things.
Mhm.
And they're not always like happy things. They're not always
Right.
enjoyable things to experience, but the way that they're able to really put them down into words is something special and something I really appreciate about it.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Well, isn't the
Thanks,
formula
Johnny.
for a good country song 3 chords and the truth?
Yeah, yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
I suppose,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure you got a few more than 3 in there, but it's like keeping it simple but real
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I mean, you see, I think about, movies, and it's like, I know it was a little bit made up for the Johnny Cash biopic, but when Sam Phillips says, you got one shot to sing a song to tell me about you, go, and he's saying it was, I think, was it Walk the Line, I think, in the movie. That wasn't actually his first song. I think, I can't remember if Cry, Cry, Cry or Big River was his real first song, but,
Okay.
For the movie, it made a little bit more sense. But just the point of, you've got a chance to tell people who you are with your music, go. And you see so many biopics of musicians where that was kind of their make it or break it, right?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you get a chance to tell me who you are and be different, Or even if you watch something like America's Got Talent, Simon's always like, you show me something I haven't seen before,
Yeah.
I've seen Kelly Clarkson, so don't give me Kelly Clarkson. Give me somebody different. I want you, And I love when musicians tell me, when I say, who do you sound like? They're like, I sound like me. I'm like, that's the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we really do have that. We have our own.
Yeah, we certainly have artists that we've taken, influence from,
Sure.
and we've all bring our own inspirations to the band. But I really feel like we are very unique. The type of blend of country and folk and Americana that we do is I don't know. I haven't heard really anyone else do something similar to us. So it's kind of hard when you're trying to get gigs or present yourself to other people, and they're like, "Oh, what do you sound like?" And we don't sound commercial country. We're kind of more of a subgenre of country, but it's really hard to be an original band and to like describe your sound to someone when they probably haven't heard anyone like you.
Right.
And that's definitely been a challenge, but it's a good challenge to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when the marketing side can come out and say, well, then you got to give us a listen, because we are someone you've never heard before.
Right.
And my inspirations are very like indie, and I think AJ has some indie too. But then I think also there's some folkiness that we love. So there's such a combination of different things that it's like we just are VOYAGR. That's who we are.
I'd say biggest inspirations for me right now, at least. I mean, actually growing up, I'd say there's been like a songwriter in each season of my life, let's say like a year, 2 year basis, right? And started out with Noah Gunderson. I think that's really where I learned to write kind of meaningful, heartfelt lyrics, because I'm someone who is deeply emotional, and it definitely took a lot of years to get a rein on my emotions, because it can get destructive in a way, right? Where you're just constantly like feeling, right? And I would say Noah Gunderson was someone I really looked up to, and I would even go and travel and see his concerts like several states away, right? And then, in more recent years, I'd say Jason Isbell, who is like, to me, he's the king of Americana.
Right.
I'm sure there's some other artists who can give him a run for his money, but I haven't heard him yet.
Yeah.
And then even more recently, I'd say probably since this past winter, Stephen Wilson Jr., who has really kind of had a groundbreaking entrance into the Americana folk country scene. This dude he wrote a song called Father's Son, and then I Am a Song. And if you listen to I Am a Song, he writes about the role and purpose of a song in your life, and the way that he was able to just articulate the lyrics so beautifully. It's something that still inspires me to this day.
How do you all define what, and I ask this of everybody, because genre just, it absolutely envelops me, because it's so vast, and it's like, what makes a country song, not an Americana song, an Ameripolitan song, a honky-tonk song? It's like, what's the defining, is there a definition in between there where it crosses, or you're just like, is Americana a little bit more of a all-enveloping, this is just kind of roots music, if you will, this is kind of getting back to the basics? And
I think when I think about like a folk country, I think of there's more like banjo, mandolin, fiddle,
more sonic.
Yeah,
I think it's the sonic elements that really stick out.
I think it's the elements,
not the hedgehog.
Oh gosh. But yeah, I think when I think of that, I think of instrumentation too, like just that.
Okay.
And then I think of like, when I think of indie music, I think of like Lizzie McAlpine, Phoebe Bridgers, like just a little bit more like lower, but I don't know. I think of people and how they sound. So I guess how they sound.
Yeah, I think, well, when it boils down to it, I guess country and folk are all types of Americana music. It's all kind of originated from America. But yeah, I think in trying to classify maybe what our sound is, it's very much kind of what the sonic familiarity is in terms of, we have the guitars in our music have a lot of twang to them and very reminiscent of modern day country music. But then some of the drums maybe and some of the melodies that AJ and Rachel come up with are very kind of indie folk-esque. And so I think just in identifying what we are, it's just a mashup of all those kind of sonic familiarities, I guess, and where are they coming from.
So I was going to say, for me, like some of my favorite bands are like The Head and the Heart, The Lumineers, Wild Rivers, but like my inspirations are a little different. Like, yeah, those inspire me, but Lizzie McAlpine really is one of my favorites just because she's like me. She writes real like I do. And I think a lot of my, like when I have a touch on a song, it's kind of like her. And so that's what I think about. She's not really super active anymore, but Lennon Stella is, I don't know if you know the name, but she's from Nashville, and I saw her live, and she had an EP and an album at some point, and she was one of my inspirations when I was earlier on in the band, but now it's more so like Lizzie McAlpine. Ash is another favorite. Olivia Dean. So it's funny because I have those female artists and he has the male artists. Yeah. So it kind of, I think that's why we get that mix up, is because our inspirations are male and female led as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think what John's point is very true. Like we have just a mix of all of it, and we like it that way. We like having our own sound that has a mix of like 4 or 5 different things. So
yeah, I don't even like to try and figure out like, oh, we're this and this and that, because with all the music that we listen to, man, there's some days where I'm blasting K-Dot. There's other days that I'm gonna blast Morgan Wallen or heck, even Justin Bieber, that Lonely song. It all depends on the mood. It all depends on like what I'm feeling.
I mean, some days I can get down with Chris Brown, Drake. Like I don't need to, you know what I mean? Like some days I want to listen to that, but yeah, I think like. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of like I love music in general. I love music.
I think we all draw our inspirations and influences from just everything around us, right? Like we can't pinpoint it and say like, oh yeah, this artist in this genre. No, because like even when you're trying to say like what kind of songwriter I am, like I don't know. I feel like I naturally kind of lean more towards the singer-songwriter folk Americana, just naturally. But then like also too, I mean, I was listening to Teddy Swims, that Lose Control song, and I'm sitting there just belting that out. I'm just like, wow, that actually sounds kind of decent. I mean, maybe that's something that I can write essentially, right? But I don't know. I think it's just always trying to grow, always trying to never being complacent or just like content with where you're at, always trying to shoot for the bigger and better, songs. Right?
Have you ever tried to write a song that's maybe out of your comfort zone a little bit and been like, yeah, no, this isn't working?
Yeah. So definitely like writing, whether it's like verses or at different kind of writing exercises. There is, I don't know if you've heard of them, but Michael Farrow from Farrow. And I remember I'm friends with them on Facebook, and they would post in, I think it's October, it's like Songtober, and they were just like giving you a bunch of different writing prompts, and I would take those out, and I would try and see like, oh man, am I doing a little bit of jazz here, am I doing a little bit of folk, or am I doing just a pop kind of thing? And I feel like definitely getting out of your comfort zone when it comes to writing is good, especially if hey, I'm not going to present this to anybody, right? Because that's just for you. And when you have a song that's between you and you, that is a beautiful thing, because then you could take that and be like, wow, this helped me grow into the writer that I am today.
Question I like to ask a lot is, when you're recording, do you think about how you're going to perform the song live when you're in the studio and you're producing it and you're putting into it maybe some more stuff into it in the studio that you might be able to put into it live on stage? Remember how earlier I mentioned we went to Nashville for our band retreat? So on that band retreat, we actually recorded Scars, and I
I wrote that one. But I would have to say, like, when we were doing that, like when I was like singing the parts, I was just thinking about like, I wasn't thinking about me on a stage singing in front of people. I was kind of just like zoning in on the words and like the feelings or like the emotional side of the song, because I wrote that about my husband. So basically Scars is just about how, you know, when you find someone that you're in a healthy relationship with them, you have scars and you have wounds and you don't, maybe they're not quite healed yet, and you don't necessarily want them to know about certain things or see those things. But at some point, if it's the right person, you're going to open up and show those scars to them. And then eventually, hopefully they can heal them or help heal them. So that's what the song is about. But I think I was more so just like proud of myself for writing it and proud of us for being able to be in Nashville.
Did a fantastic job with it. Once again, we get there and we're just like, you came up with another killer song. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, where is this coming from?
I would say I do think about that when I'm tracking drum parts.
But we all have different brains, 100%.
Yeah.
Like John's brain and my brain ain't the same.
No.
So I can see why John would say that. Yeah.
Well, and also when you're tracking drums, usually the drums are going to be pretty, they're going to be lesser in the studio mix because the parts I'm coming up with while we're tracking are meant to serve the song. And obviously when you're playing live, you have the emotion of playing live and you're going to stretch out a bit more in the drum kit. So for me, I kind of know if I'm tracking a drum part, this is probably going to sound a little bit different when we play it live, just because of the energy, the emotion being engaged in a live room. But my focus is really what can I do to serve the song when we are actually tracking that song. And usually it's a lot more simple than, like I said, if we were to play it live.
Right.
Well, also I think too with like being a singer, I'm just singing. And so when I think I like the freedom to do what I want to do with it when it's live. So for an example, like AJ and I we add different levels or different things live, like Go On and Get Out. When we sing it live, we added like a new little thing we do at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't record it that way.
For that last line or whatever, I don't know if I'm allowed to sing or not, but it's just like, it's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out.
Yeah.
And so we ended up adding that kind of little tagline.
Literally recently.
Yeah.
We didn't record that, you know? So I think I personally like that freedom of being able to do that. I do it with Candy Winds. I do it with Scars. I do it with all the songs.
Wow.
But so I think that's why my answer is different than John's, because John has a different mindset when he's tracking, and mine's just like, okay, this is the basics, this is the standard, but live I can do whatever I want. And I don't know, AJ, what's your take?
I definitely hear the dynamics of the song, like where I hear the parts and all of that. My problem is I am not like a musically trained person when it comes to communicating the language of like drums or electric guitar or stuff like that. And so for me, it's always a struggle just trying to get it all out. So I mean, when I'm recording, I think about the song. I think about the dynamics, but I'm mainly just trying to like evoke that emotion that I felt when I wrote that song. Right.
Yeah.
Actually, AJ taught me that when we first recorded back in the day. He was like, it was Lovely, wasn't it?
I think so. I was pretty much just like,
we did a cover of Lovely by Billie Eilish.
Okay.
And yeah, he was like, okay, I think you can have a little more, like, basically a little more emotion or a little more soul with it. And because I was so new and I was just like singing it like a robot almost. And he was like, just close your eyes, like, you know.
I think I literally like we would do a take and then we would end up like, I would end up just stopping and being like, Rach, nah, like, come on, like show me that you mean what you're singing.
But I'm like, I didn't write this. I don't know. But now it's easier because we write it.
But you can feel the emotion when you, I mean, and obviously people are different, right? Like some person might not, they might be able to listen to a song, right? And they will completely vibe out to the lyrics, right? Whereas someone else like me, I'm more of a music kind of guy, right? So I feel the emotion of the music. Sure. And that's what moves me. Yeah. And so then when you have like this thing of prosody, right? That's a phrase that I like to use. And that's essentially where the lyrics are matching the melody. And I feel like Voyager does a fantastic job with that. Especially on Go On and Get Out and Scars and really like a lot of the songs for the most part. But with Rachel, like I was just like, I remember getting to a spot where I'm just like, Rachel, just like listen to this song and like and feel it, like mean what you're singing, like make it believable, right?
It's really fun. So I'm classically trained. I started very young and was in concert band and symphony orchestra and all that, and played in all those environments. So it's really fun being classically trained and knowing all of the technical music lingo, and then hearing them try to communicate like musical ideas to each other. It's really fun. Like AJ, one of the new songs that's going to be on our album in the fall,
ships.
He wrote this song and the verses are in 7/4.
Okay.
I didn't even know.
He doesn't know it's in 7/4, but I think this is awesome.
I got a C in music theory.
Yeah.
You know what they say? C's get degrees, right?
Look
at me
I
now,
didn't
Ma.
take music theory at all, so I don't know.
Yeah. So it's just, but it's a lot of fun and it makes us who we are.
Right.
And like what I said earlier, kind of being the rhythm police, I have a way of being able to taking what I think they're saying and being like, okay, this is what it actually is in, quote unquote technical musical terms.
Right.
So, but it's great and it makes things a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's funny. I had a buddy of mine, Mike Campbell. He's in a band called Sucker Punch and then Bloodline. And his son is actually a bass player. And I had him and his son and his daughter down. And his daughter was going to SUNY Fredonia and won the Battle of the Bands. And she's very classically trained, right? And he's just like, no, I hear do, do, da, ba, da, ba, boo. And she's like, oh yeah, that's a blah, 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 Dad. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I just hear it. And she's, same as you. She's very classically trained.
Yeah.
But then she's doing this stuff that you would think she's classically trained because of, how open and how free it is.
Right.
But, kind of get to your point, AJ, with, and to Rachel, to you feeling the music, like at the beginning when I was talking about, there's people that sing and they sing well, but they're not bringing that emotion to the song because they might be just doing a cover and they might not know what the cover song's about. I've heard so many people, do songs. And I was actually recording some folks down here, my buddy who runs a theater company, and they were recording the opening part of a play, musical, where they kind of had to do a chant thing, and it mentions all these pop songs, and this guy's going through this soliloquy, right? And the director stopped him and says, "You don't even know what these songs are, do you?" And he's like, not really. It's like, how can you be, so they took a minute to, pull them up and play a little bit of them, and then it's like, oh, that's that song, or it's like, how can you, if you don't know what the song's about, but like you said, when you're writing it and it's you.
Yeah.
Well, we're also at this point in our band where we can do like these sets of all original music. And that's what won us the Taste of Country Risers competition, was that we did all originals. And did you have to do a cover, right?
Yeah,
so we did cover.
You had to do a cover. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a cover and then an original. And then after that, you got to essentially choose.
Sure.
So we chose to continue with our originals after that cover.
Nice.
And that's what won us the competition, basically. And so that's something that we're super proud of. But that was back then. And now, we just did our set at the Cavs, as I mentioned earlier. And that whole set was all original music. And it's just for me too, like I'm not going to speak for them, but I'm pretty sure they would say the same. But I'm just like so proud of us for being in this position where, hey, like we're opening for this really cool guy. And we have all original music to share with all these new listeners, these new people, this new crowd that we haven't been in front of before, this new venue. It's just a really cool thing to be a part of.
Do you think it's tough in Buffalo to be an original band?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was quick, John.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, John, I'll let you elaborate if you want. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to what I said just about booking, it's really hard to pitch yourself if someone hasn't heard anything like you before. And we kind of sit between folk and country. And so that has its advantages and disadvantages. It has its advantages, like when touring acts come into town and they need local original openers, we're often some of the first ones that are thought of because although we might not be commercial sounding country, we are kind of a subgenre of country. So it's been really great to have opportunities to open for national acts. But when we were first starting out, before we started to grow a little bit of a following, it was really tough to, like I said, pitch ourselves. People didn't understand that we were country, but we weren't like your honky tonk country. We weren't a country you'd necessarily hear on the radio. And so I think it certainly has had its challenges, but I think we're just getting to the point where we're starting to build up a following of people that have come into contact with our music and are really receptive to it. And one of the first times that happened was we played the WYRK acoustic show last November. It was our final show of 2024. We had a really long 2024 with shows, and we were all really tired. And we played the set. I think we had like a 25-minute set, did all original music. Yeah. And the coolest part of that show was afterwards at our merch table, having people come up to us that we had no prior connection with. And we would introduce ourselves to them, and they would say, "Oh no, we know who you are. We listen to our music. We share your music."
Oh, no,
and I think that was the first time, we were a band about 2.5 years at that point. And it almost felt like all the hard work paid off in that moment.
Right.
And that people are actually finally grasping who we are and that we are an original band, and we're not trying to be like anyone else. We're just trying to make authentic, real music that people can relate to.
And
we're
that
doing our
happened
thing.
at Rec Room.
And then that happened recently. Our first 2 shows of this year at Rec Room 2 weeks ago and the Kaz this past week, we had people there that we didn't know. They just followed us.
No mutual connections.
No mutual connections. They just came out and bought a ticket because they enjoy our music. And so
we appreciate that like so much. Like it means a lot to us. And I mean, I'm a very social butterfly extrovert. I'm that. So I love meeting people.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to be at the merch table, and then someone comes over and they're like, "Hey, like I want a Lover's Lie t-shirt because I love that song,
Yeah.
And that's probably is that our most streamed still?
Yeah.
So it's our most streamed, kind of our most popular. A lot of people know that one.
Technically, Go On and Get Out rose to the rankings and is our number 1 song right now.
Oh, I stand corrected. But it has the most streams. Yeah. And for a while, it was the most well-known. And that was one of our first t-shirts. It says Lover's Lie on it. If you want one, we have smalls and mediums left. But yeah, so it just kind of like, it was cool. Like, oh, this is your favorite song and you're coming over and getting a t-shirt and I don't even know who you are. So it was definitely, like John's saying, like, kind of like, oh wow, like all this hard work we've been doing for the past couple of years is like finally paying off.
Finally paying off.
Good for you.
Because when people first hear you, they don't really know what to think, right? And they don't even when you're talking about it, like what do you mean? Like what are you? And
people are like, are you a local like cover band doing your 3-hour sets at a restaurant or a bar or whatever? Or are you like an original act? Like, and so I think we've really just been trying to market ourselves as an original act, like for example, Wild Rivers, right? They're from Canada, and they don't mention necessarily like, oh yeah, we started off as a local band, doing covers and all that. Like they don't mention any of that now. And really like that's kind of what we're aiming for, is like just continuing on with putting out original music and like, getting it out into other states, and then eventually like traveling to those states and playing for people who stream our music. Right.
Oh, cool. Now that kind of leads me into we're getting close to the top of the hour here, and we got to play
Wow.
We got to play Scars before we leave. But
we do.
You guys got a new album coming out, right? You're going to collect all of this stuff together, right?
Yeah.
So
we are.
Yeah. So we're taking kind of the last 3 years of music, some of the songs we released. We're going to package that with a couple of new songs, and we're in the process of tracking those new songs right now. Some we wrote on our band retreat this past March in the Adirondacks, and that's going to be coming out in the fall.
Cool.
And
super stoked about it.
Super stoked about
Vinyl?
it.
What was that?
Vinyl or
we're
CD?
we're thinking definitely CD,
Okay.
possibly
Vinyl's
vinyl.
expensive,
It's just very
man.
expensive.
It's so
I know it is.
expensive.
Yeah.
Like we did a giveaway for a ticket giveaway to a Dal Hollow show we did at what was
Mohawk
it?
Place.
Mohawk Place. Yeah, rest in peace.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But
what I
anyways,
heard.
yeah. So we did like a ticket giveaway thing. So or a ticket kind of sale thing where it's like if you end up buying a ticket, you'll get entered into a raffle to Go On and Get Out and Scars vinyl.
It was just the
And
2 songs.
It's just the 2
Yeah.
songs, but I think what was it, like $50 for one print?
It was $50 for 45 to make. So
Man, like
Yeah.
So CDs, I think we're gonna go for, right?
yeah.
And I want to do posters. I think posters are cool. So I'm going to do that.
I do too.
Yeah.
We'll
You
get
can have
you
one.
one down
You
here.
can
We'll
have
send
one.
it
We'll
right
get one
over.
down here.
Absolutely.
But I want to head up that because I think that's cool. And
Yeah.
then also we're going to get some new merch in too. So
Oh man, let me show you this hat that we're working on.
Yeah,
And
well, the merch is
that's what keeps us afloat,
it
just
keeps
as
you
every
afloat.
band.
Yep.
professional
Absolutely.
t-shirts.
But we found a lot of success with that. So until we get to the point where we feel comfortable to have 25 vinyls, you know?
Right. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we got some cool new
Excited
merch.
about it.
Yeah. Hey, CDs are all right, man.
Yeah.
As you can see, I have both.
Yeah.
You know, I
yeah.
You have posters, CDs, and vinyls. You have all of
poster
them.
CD. I got 78s too, man, and 45. So I got it all.
I have no doubt CDs will get played because I have relatives that do not stream music
Right.
and will not stream
My
music.
mom will
Yeah.
want a CD.
I don't.
So
either.
I know that
Emo.
at minimum, we will have older relatives listening to our music on CD by the end of the year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a CD player in my car, man. I'll tell you.
Mm.
That's why I bought it. You know,
Yeah.
I still, because a lot of the stuff that I like also is not on
Right.
streaming.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
on the
interesting.
radio.
Yeah.
Because I like local. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's why I have 45s, because the stuff from the 60s, they made 45s.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
stuff was not digitized.
Right.
We'll hook
So-
you up with a CD for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Put me on the list.
Absolutely.
And I buy my music. So
That's
I am-
awesome.
I mean, we appreciate that, but I mean, we could
Yeah.
spot you on no
But
problem.
I like to support everybody. You guys are doing a
Yeah.
great job.
Thank
But-
you so
but
much.
Before we go, we got to play Scars. So let
Yeah,
me
sure.
pull it up here. And
This one was a fun one to produce for sure. We loved that process.
This was fully tracked in Nashville last summer,
Yeah.
and just had an amazing time writing this with our producer Jonah Krall, originally from Buffalo, and the whole thing was tracked down there.
cool. All right. Well, this is Scars from Voyager.
I've been running. My walls are up, my heart is on defense. I've been climbing
still the one. You were supposed to sing.
Well, we've been doing a little add-on at the end live. So we do "You're Still the One" by Shania Twain.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I say
we kinda,
Shania Twang.
We hang on that. I believe it's a D. And then he starts out with that, and then I take over, and it's really cool because the people love it, and they probably don't know Scars. Obviously, maybe they do, but they know that song, and they just love that part. So
that's very cool.
It's cool to see the reaction when we sing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your harmonies were great, and it's so cool how you blend so well together, and you're looking at each other. It's like, okay, who's going to go up? Who's going to go down? Who's taking this? Who's taking that?
Yeah.
And you just do it so effortless. I know, I sing harmony with my buddy, and it ain't easy.
It's like telepathy at this point.
He has to really, I have to work hard at it. I see you guys just doing it. It's like, again, you suck.
Stop, come on now.
I'm not going to lie. I've always kind of had it in my head since I was younger. I would hear it in songs. I think I don't really have like a moment where I remember, oh, that's what a harmony is. I think I always just wanted to sing it. And so when, we did Lovers Lie, that was the easiest to do. And then I don't know. I've just always, it just is kind of easy to hear for me. So I just match that, and I don't really have an explanation. I just kind of do. But I have a lot of people tell me, oh, I have to work really hard at it. And unfortunately, I don't know what that feels like. I just do it. And I can do the third harmony. I don't have to have, the second one to do the third one. I just love harmonies. So AJ knows that, because I always am singing harmony to him.
And I've played with lots of different singers over the years, and she's right. Being able to harmonize does not come naturally to some singers. Some singers, it's really hard. Yeah. Really? And these two just do it effortlessly.
No, I've had someone tell me, they're like, their wife is a beautiful vocalist. They're like, she can't sing harmony. She has to sing melody. She just can't.
I know some people that are wonderful singers and can sing higher than me and can sing lower than me that can't do a harmony at all. And you can sing it with them, teach them or whatever, but they yeah. But one thing I love about AJ and I too is that we just demonstrated earlier with Go On and Get Out, if he's going I'm not just I can match all of his so I think that's so fun. I love doing all the little things too. So that's why AJ and I go so good together, because he does like to do those runs and stuff, and I follow. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. Okay. So
it's been pretty neat, I will say.
Yeah. And I say you suck with all the love in my heart.
Oh,
so.
absolutely.
We felt the love. Don't worry.
Absolutely.
Don't you worry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah,
so,
you're good, man.
It's guys, we could probably sit here and talk for another hour.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's shoot the shit for another hour, bro. We all got work in the morning,
But as I tell everybody, we got to keep people wanting more, right?
Yeah,
Showmanship,
right?
right?
Yeah,
so
we can have round 2 later in life, and they'll have to wait for it. So
absolutely, and there's the door is always open for round 2, guys. So
awesome.
just always remember that. So
it's been an absolute pleasure.
And you're always welcome to come down and listen to tunes. So
sweet.
I'm always
when our album drops in the fall, we'll come over and do a listening party. How about
there you go. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah. Oh, that would be
that
cool.
Would be
That's a
really
very
cool.
good idea. I say let's do it.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
There you go.
Well, John will be in touch.
I was going to say, John.
Yeah, by
people will talk to my people.
We mean John.
Well, for everyone who's tuned in, we thank you for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we have. I can't thank my guests enough here from Voyager, AJ and John and Rachel, for coming down, sharing their stories, sharing their music, and go out, definitely check out where they're at. Of course, at rockabillygreg.com, I will have links and videos and all kinds of different stuff along with the podcast. So if you're interested in finding out what's going on with the band, you can check them out. And as always, you can find the podcast where you get your podcast at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, and thebuffalohive.com. And as I mentioned, rockabillygreg.com, where it's all about the music. And after the credits roll, don't go anywhere, because we're going to have some special outtakes from the music that you just heard. So until next week, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. In the Flamingo Lounge is made possible in part by catslikeus.com, your online store for authentic vintage clothing and accessories. Buffalo Ironworks, an intimate live music venue and bar located in the Cobblestone District in downtown Buffalo. And by Diamond Hawk Golf Course and Pub, Western New York's premier golf course, restaurant, and banquet facility. At the Hawk, the bar is hopping year-round with live music every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and some other nights too. Tune in for a new episode every Saturday at 9 a.m. EST at rockabillygreg.com, where it's all about the music. Bark, Zoe, bark. Good girl. This is Go On, Get Out by Voyager.
I've seen you behind every closed door. Honey, I know you all that well. Watch you fool me with your smile. All the lies on like you've come home. If an empty bottle marks a mistake, honey, I'll make my last drop on you.
I remember we wanted to make like a little kind of comparison to Maker's Mark, the bourbon. And, so that's why I ended up writing everything like I did.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Just a little pun on that.
There you go. It's always interesting to get the artist's perspective on what you wrote and how you wrote it, you know?
This was like the aha moment. Like, okay, we're talking about this. Here's the aha moment. Go on and get out.
Right.
And I'm so sick of
Fed up.
trying. I know that I'm lying to say we should work this thing out. If me losing is walking away from the shouting, then baby I'll end this bout. It's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out.
And this is you on the lead vocals, right, AJ?
Yes, sir.
I dumb heart thought you were forever.
Most people don't even think I look like a singer, so when they end up looking at me and they hear my music, our music I should say, they're just like, you're a singer? What?
Yeah. What, do they think you're a bass player?
Just a regular old corporate office guy.
Oh, there you go.
Harmonies are absolutely fantastic on this Rachel. My God, every single time.
Is it just the two of you doing the harmonies, or?
Yeah.
There's the door.
I said that when we were recording to be funny. There's the door.
Oh.
So it's like an inside joke now.
Okay.
Didn't make the final cut.
Didn't make it. Didn't make it.
I think, thank God, maybe.
Out to take the last shot.
I love that bass line so much.
Trying, I know that I'm lying to say we should work this thing out. If me losing is walking away from the shouting, then baby I'll end this bout. It's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out. It's the last time I tell you you're leaving. Go on and get out.
All right, well, this is Scars from Voyager.
This is really like that country kind of feel. 100%.
I've been running
say this, but this was my favorite.
Oh, that's okay. Man, I love it too. Like
I really like this song.
I listen to Canyon Winds and Scars a hell of a lot more than I listen to my own songs, brother.
They're all good. They're all good kids. But
She's got this like pureness and like rawness to her voice that she sings so beautifully.
And now I'm running in your arms. I thought I'd never fall, but here we are. And now I'm looking to the stars. I thought I'd never fall, but here we are. To open up again.
And at this part, I kind of wanted to change it up and have him take over this. So, because I wanted a dynamic. So I was like, you got it, AJ.
there you go.
I've been thinking.
Now that's teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking
And no egos, right?
to let
good.
you in and see where this could go. I've been waiting. Oh, I've been waiting for all my walls to fall and let things flow. To open up again is hard. I don't think I can let you see my scars. And now I'm running to your arms. I thought
And one thing I loved about this song, too, was having the banjo in it. Because I wanted banjo in it.
Oh, cool.
So,
Who played? Did you get someone else to play banjo? Or?
Yeah,
Jonah.
our producer Jonah Krall does all electrics and basically stringed instruments for us when we're tracking. So he tracked banjo on this and just came out awesome.